Welcome back to me talking about movies. That's what we're doing again today. I'm sorry you clicked on this video. Yeah, so I'm gonna go through every single movie that released in 2021 that I saw. Gonna rank them from worst to best. I haven't seen that many movies that have come out this year, so there's not gonna be that long of a list. Let's just jump into it, let's jump into it. So the worst movie I saw that came out this year is Cruella, the Disney expansion on the classic 101 Dalmatians character. Really doesn't work. It's such an odd film, and it doesn't make any sense. It's honestly, it's kind of funny how bad it is. Like, spoiler alert for Cruella, but the part where the dogs just kill her mom in like the first 5 minutes, I was dying laughing. There's just so many things wrong with this film and how it was made, and they've already greenlit a second one, and I'm so excited. I saw this movie in theaters. Like, this was my return to theaters film, was Cruella. And honestly, fun time. Wouldn't recommend watching it, but like if you want a bad film, yeah, go for it. I feel like there are better, worse films, but this one's pretty solidly bad. You're very much laughing at the film the entire time, if you are laughing. Next up, the next worst film I saw, I guess, is Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage. So Venom, the first Venom is it's very silly, and I liked it for that. It was kind of unintentionally funny a lot of the time with, Tom Hardy and Venom's back and forth. And this movie really leans into that, and it doesn't work out. It feels forced, really. It feels like the creators of Venom learned what fans reacted well to from the first Venom and then just tried to do more of it in this one. I don't think it works well at all. Why did they change Woody Harrelson's hair? And in the post-credit scene of the first Venom, he's got a beautiful, beautiful wig. And why did they change it? Why? It was going to be the best part of Venom 2 and they took it out. Venom 2 was honestly kind of not great. I saw this film in theaters too, actually. A lot of these I saw in theaters, which is kind of surprising considering the type of year we had. Not the biggest fan of Venom 2. The next film is F9, the ninth entry in the Fast and Furious film franchise. Me and some friends this year watched every single Fast and Furious film over the course of 2 months. And I gotta say, the newest one is not one of the best. It is kind of fine. It's kind of boring. It does get ridiculous. Ludacris goes to space, which is the idea of that is funny. The actual execution in the film is not great. It's just kind of, I feel like this film franchise, they keep on trying to outdo themselves, and it's just, I don't know. I want to go there to see the characters more than what the characters are doing. I feel like the characters have just kind of been run into the ground a lot, and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson isn't there. I loved his films really in the series, and I think F9 just kind of more of the same. It doesn't have a lot of the fun energy of a lot of the other Fast and Furious films, so it was kind of sad. It wasn't dog shit. It's definitely not the worst Fast and Furious film, but definitely not the best. All right, next up is VHS 94. This is it's another entry. There's a VHS film series, film franchise, I guess. This is the first one I had seen. Saw it with a friend who really likes horror films, and I don't really like horror films. It's an anthology of 5, I think, short films. Some of them are better than others, definitely. Some of them are funnier than others, at least. None of them I thought were particularly scary. I like the Ratma one. That one's fun. Yeah, I don't know. It wasn't very engaging, I thought. None of the stories really were super interesting or like particularly unique, I thought. They definitely have like some unique elements to them, but there's just I think other films that do it better at the end of the day. Next up, we're gonna talk about Space Jam: A New Legacy. Okay, so I'm a Space Jam fanatic. All right. Let me prove to you my devotion to Space Jam. You see that? That's Space Jam. I got that for like $4 at Walmart. But anyways, so yeah, Space Jam: New Legacy. So LeBron James stars in this newest Space Jam film. I guess it is a sequel, but also kind of like a reboot or a remake at the same time. You don't have to watch the original Space Jam to get this one. This film it's fine. Definitely has its moments. I think LeBron James does a fairly solid job acting, and so does the person playing LeBron James's kid. It's kind of funny that it's not LeBron James's actual kid. I think kind of the plot is kind of It's a lot of it is just excuses for Warner Bros. To go around and show off their property. Essentially, the people saying this film feels a lot like an advertisement. I would concur. It definitely has its kind of fun moments, and there are times where it's like, haha, Joker in the background. Still like not great. Not a very like well made film really. At the end of the day, it has some fun to it, but not a film I would go back to, unlike the first Space Jam, which is a timeless classic, really. Next up, we're going to be talking about Zack Snyder's Justice League. I was not a fan of Zack Snyder's Justice League. It's definitely better than the original Justice League. However, it really could have been cut down. If you would cut this film down hour by an hour and a half, pretty easily do that, I feel like I would be more positive towards it. It's solid. It's just very slow. There are parts where it gets pretty boring, honestly. It's so weird because this film is like leagues better than the original Justice League. However, I think in the grander scheme of things, I personally don't find it that good. I know there are a lot of people that are really enjoying this film, and like props to them. It wasn't really in my style. It wasn't up my alley, I think, at the end of the day. Next up, Godzilla vs. Kong. This film was not great, but it was fun. I don't know. You're going into this film and you're just like giant monkey versus giant dinosaur, and you're gonna see which one wins, right? Like there was a plot to this film. I don't really remember it. They like go to the inside of the earth or something at some point with Kong, and there's like a secret mystical portal or something. I like don't remember this film honestly, but like while it was on, I was like, yeah, okay. That's kind of how I feel. Yeah, I couldn't tell you the name of a single character besides Godzilla and Kong, or what if you told me like what a character was or what they did, I would not be able to tell you if they were in this film. Like you could convince me that like anything happened in this film and I would be like, yeah, sure. Monkey dinosaur fight. But it was fun. It was so fun. It was dumb, but it was fun. All right. The next film is going to be Muppets Haunted Mansion. I've never seen the original Haunted Mansion, and I know this film is like kind of a parody of that film. So I might have missed like a lot of jokes because of that. It's the Muppets. I like the Muppets. They're fun. Kind of cute films. I really like the part where John Stamos talks with the shrimp or prawn. Sorry. Big fan. I don't know. Muppets films are just kind of like, they're also pretty silly. This one is like Gonzo and Pepe like going through the Haunted Mansion and getting into some goofs and gaffs along the way. It was very, it was pretty fun. Pretty fun little adventure. The only thing to fear is fear itself or something like that. We're already halfway through the list, by the way. Next up, we're gonna talk about The Green Knight. I saw this film in theaters, actually, with some friends. We all got together, and the night was very green. So it's like it's an interpretation of the story of Sir Gawain and the Green Knight. I've never read the book, but I know like the legend. This film does follow the legend pretty closely. if you know the legend, I think there are some things about this film that honestly don't work as well. I think kind of like the mystery of the Green Knight and of Sir Gawain's adventure is a bit lost because of that. So I wasn't super entertained by it, partially because of that prior knowledge. I think this film was like, it's certainly interesting, and it's not by any means a bad film, but it didn't. I don't know. It just didn't engage me because it didn't really present anything new. I thought it looks well. It's well acted. It's well written, but I don't know. Just like kind of felt pretty lukewarm on the whole thing after it finished. Next up, whereas this is the 10th film, we're getting into the upper echelon here, which is interesting because the next film I'm going to talk about is All Too Well, the short film. This is a short film Taylor Swift made accompanying her 10-minute version of the song All Too Well, which is very probably about her relationship with Jake Gyllenhaal. And the 10-minute version really goes into more detail about that relationship. And this short film is retelling of the events of that relationship, it seems. It's really unknown like how many of these specifics that she mentions actually line up with what happened in real life, but I mean, we can only assume. There's only two people that are able to tell the story, and she's one of those people. So a lot of why I like this short film is because I like the song that the short film was about. I also think that like the fact that this was a very real relationship helps with the impact of the film and of the song and its kind of emotional key points. And like the little details Taylor sprinkles in, I think really help with that. However, I think I like the film less than I like the song. How about that? I do think that the film itself is kind of basic at the end of the day. If it seems like a very standard representation of like a toxic relationship that you would see in many films. Like, I don't think the film itself is anything particularly great. I think it's interesting. It's cool. I don't think the film is really amplifying the emotions of the song, which is, I would think, at the end of the day, the goal of it. Next up, The Mitchells versus the Machines. This is kind of a fun family animated film about this family, the Mitchells, and they're kind of not the most cohesive family, and they're the last ones alive versus a giant army of robots to save the world, essentially. It's a very it's a very fun kind of premise there, and I think this movie does a great job of like having fun with that premise while also exploring these family bonds and how essentially like really the real story of the film is that these parents, their teenage daughter is going off to college soon, so it's kind of their like last chance to truly be with their daughter before she leaves. And she has her issues with her family, and through this journey they all really learn more and understand more about each other, especially the daughter and the dad. It's a very interesting kind of take on that. It also works well. It also just makes for like a fun story. There's a lot of honestly like really entertaining moments, lots of good jokes. It's a fun movie at the end of the day, and I think the emotional weight is there as well. So yeah, just like really well done, really fun. Next up, we're down to the top 5. Told you I didn't watch this many movies this year. Coming in at number 5. Woo! Bo Burnham's Inside. This is a comedy special by, I guess, comedian, musician, very talented person, Bo Burnham. This is like a meditation on quarantine for him and his journey through quarantine, mixed in with a couple of fun songs here and there, really. There's lots of things I like about Inside and lots of things I don't like about Inside. I feel very conflicted about it. I do think that Bo Burnham's representation of his journey and kind of how he's dealing with quarantine, I think is very interesting. he talks a lot about how he's a creator. He wants to create, and how can he create during this time? How should he be creating during this time? That kind of things. The one of like my biggest problems with it though is that in this message, in this journey, he undermines himself a lot. It kind of leaves me questioning the genuineness of this piece. I feel unsure of how to fully like interpret Bo Burnham's kind of his portrayal of himself here. That being said, I still think it's one of the bravest pieces of media I think I've seen this year. It takes a lot of risks, and I think a lot of those risks pay off. Got lots of fun songs, and those fun songs are very much in contrast with a lot of the other content in the special. I would definitely recommend seeing this piece. I know some of my friends, it is their favorite piece of media of all time. Definitely, I would recommend watching it if you haven't. For some people, this was also like a very mentally or emotionally draining piece, so just be prepared for that. It's definitely interesting. Like I said, there's lots of things I like about it and lots of things that I don't like as much about it. Still very cool. Would recommend. Next up is Dune, and I'm balancing my camera on some Dune books right now. So ironic, huh? Dune. This is a film adaptation of the book by Frank Herbert, the second film adaptation to get a release. The first one was interesting. But yeah, this one directed by Denis Villeneuve. He's pretty much he's a very consistent director at this point, I'd say. He's done very well in the sci-fi sphere. He's kind of like, I feel like at this point, Denis Villeneuve, like he knows what he's doing and he can just kind of do it. He can pump out movies that are just very well made movies. I also really love the soundtrack to this film. I think it really amplifies the storytelling and the experiences of the characters. Like I said, just well made film, well shot. The cinematography is beautiful, especially for such a special effects heavy film. Well acted, really well done film. I am pretty excited for part 2. I have read the book, but the movie is different from the book. Definitely, if you want to read the book, don't watch the movie first and then read the book. Read the book first, because the movie spoils some things. I think it's actually a very interesting take on the story, and I can really appreciate that. Next up is my number 3 film that I saw in 2021, and it is Luca. So Luca is a story of some fish boys that want a Vespa. That's it. It's a great film. It's a Pixar film about friendship and relationships and coming of age as well. I'd say it's probably one of my favorite coming of age films. I think it's very fun. It's very Pixar as well, which I don't know. I think it works well. It definitely feels like a Pixar film. Also, because it's a Pixar film, it looks incredible. Let's go, gay little fishes. Mwah. My number 2 film of the year is The Suicide Squad, directed by James Gunn. This is a kind of a sequel, but also kind of like a reboot of the original Suicide Squad, which was not good. Saw that film in theaters. That was a mistake. But this film is it's everything I want from like a rated R superhero film, if that makes sense. Deadpool and stuff is very bloody and it gets raunchy and stuff, but I don't know. The Suicide Squad, I think, is perfect for that. It's hilarious, honestly. I was dying laughing a lot during this film. Like, fucking the Polka Dot Man is one of the main characters in this film, so you know it's going to be a banger, okay? And also just, like, Sylvester Stallone as, like, King Shark. The character interactions between John Cena and Idris Elba were very entertaining. It's all just a very, very fun, very entertaining film. Spoiler alert, in, like, the first 5 minutes, you see, like, 20 people die, and it's great. This was just, like, it's such an entertaining film. And it's just like so well done. The action sequences are very fun as well. I do really appreciate that the movie doesn't take itself seriously at all, which is something that the first Suicide Squad did, and it was not good. Because like, yeah, a lot of these characters are like stupid, honestly. Like Polka Dot Man is a joke character, and this movie really embraces that, and I really appreciate it. I would highly recommend watching the Suicide Squad. It's easily like one of my favorite superhero films just of all time. Definitely one of my favorites of this year. And then my number one film of 2021 that I saw in 2021, Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.0 Thrice Upon a Time. This is the final entry in the remake film series of Evangelion. This film takes Evangelion in like new directions, very, very new directions, which I think works out very well. Like the first half of this film is everything I ever wanted from Evangelion. And it's like one of the best, I think, exploration into post-apocalyptic societies that I think I've ever seen. It just works really, really well with that. There is a portion of the film where it gets a bit action heavy. I think that part, it kind of slows down a bit, but then it picks back up. It gets more philosophical after that, which I really appreciate. We get some character exposition that we have never before seen in the series, and I think it's a very interesting take on those characters. It's really well done, really well made, super, super well animated. This is my favorite Evangelion related piece of media like ever. I'm not the biggest fan of the original series or the original film, and I think lots of a couple of the remake films can be kind of shaky, but this film was really incredible. Just really, really great. You do kind of have to see at least the remake series to really understand it, and I think the film impact is even greater if you have seen the original series and End of Evangelion. But I mean, I have seen all that, so I think the payoffs were really well done in this film, and I just really, really enjoyed it. Yeah, no, just like all around incredible film. All right, so yeah, that's all the films I saw in 2021, ranked from worst to best. If you've seen any of these films, let us know in the comments down below. We'd love to hear your thoughts or your own rankings even. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and have a good day. I mean, Michael Jordan just really hits it out of the park. Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, the other ones, Lola Bunny. I'm editing that part out. You do see Pete Davidson die. Rest in peace, Pete Davidson.